Hello everyone, welcome to the new episode of Total Quality Management. Welcome to my channel, Professional Tutor for Engineers. So today we are going to discuss unit number 1, Introduction, lecture number 4. So if you would have not gone through my previous lectures, you can go to my channel, just listen to those lectures and you can come back. So today we are going to start with lecture number 4. So you can see what are the things we are going to discuss in lecture number 4. So lecture number 4 will be definition of total quality management and basic concepts of total quality management. So these are the two topics we are going to cover today. So today's topics we are going to cover. So what are the topics we are going to cover today? So in today's session we will be covering introduction to TQM, definitions of TQM, characteristics of TQM and TQM basic concepts. So these are the topics that will be discussed in our today's class. So first we will go to the introduction to TQM. So what do you mean by TQM? So TQM is nothing but total quality management. So in my previous sessions also I have covered about that basic things I have covered. So now we will go to the detailed uh, definitions and about TQM. So what is TQM? So TQM is the integration of all functions and processes within an organization in order to achieve continuous improvement of the quality of goods and services. So what they are telling here is TQM is the integration. So TQM is nothing but integration of all functions. So functions in the sense, for example, in a company, you may have different departments. Like you may have production department, quality department, sales department. So function is nothing but integration of all functions. For example, if you are manufacturing a product, so what are the functions involved in manufacturing a product? So all those things to be integrated. And similarly processes. So processes is nothing but how the raw material, how the product from raw material till finishing product, so how the final product you are getting. So all those steps are called processes. So that means TQM is nothing but integrating all these functions and processes, like from purchasing raw material till the finishing product. Those are all, you can tell it as functions. And process is nothing but converting that raw material to a finished product. For example, machining processes. So in manufacturing a product, it may undergo several processes. So integrating all those process within an organization, inside the organization, in order to achieve continuous improvement. So that means at each and every stage there should be continuous improvement in the quality of goods or services. So whether it can be a product or it might be a service. So integrating, to make it simple, what we can tell is TQM is nothing but so integrating all the functions and process. That is, what are the functions and process required to create a product. So integrating all those functions and showing continuous improvement in the product is called as TQM. So you can see here the ultimate aim is customer satisfaction. So the ultimate aim of this total quality management or implementing total quality management in a company is mainly to satisfy the customer. Okay, so only they are telling that the ultimate aim is customer satisfaction. So finally the customer has to get satisfied. Okay, so this is called as TQM. So next we will see total quality management. So this total quality management, it can be splitted into three words. Okay, so total, quality, and the third one is management. So what do you mean by total quality management? So total is nothing but made up of the whole or entire, you can tell. So total is nothing but here this total quality management, in that the first word total means that is that the entire company, the people working in the entire company has to get involved. Okay, so that is called as total. So made up of the whole or entire means that is from the top level management till the lower level management, from the operator till the management of the company, higher level management of the company should involve in this total quality management. So that is the meaning of this total. And next one is quality. So quality is nothing but, in my previous lectures itself we have discussed, so quality is nothing but degree of excellence of a product or service provided to the customer. So degree of excellence means good quality. So quality is nothing but it should be a it should be able to use by the customer and the customer should be satisfied. So then only you can tell it as a quality. And last one is management. So management is nothing but art of handling, controlling and directing. So here the management is nothing but the management should get involved in the entire total quality management process. So they should involve in how to improve the total that is the quality of the product continuously. So what they can do is they can create some quality policies, they can frame some policies, they can conduct training meetings related to quality. So all these activities has to be done by the management. So that means to tell it simple, so the involvement of management is very necessary to make the successful implementation of total quality management. So I hope you got this point. So total quality management is nothing but the entire organization. So all the people, each and every employee of the company has to get involved in improving the quality of the product. So that is called as total quality management. And next we will see some definitions of total quality management. So there are few definitions related to the total quality management. Now we will discuss one by one. So first one is ISO. So what do you mean by ISO? So ISO is nothing but International Organization for Standardization. So ISO you would have heard about in some products. You can say ISO standard company or ISO certified company, like that they used to tell, or ISO certified product, like that. So ISO is nothing but International Organization for Standardization. So this organization has given a particular definition for total quality management. So what do you mean by total quality management? So total quality management is the management approach of an organization centered on quality based on participation of all its members and aiming at long-term success through customer satisfaction and benefits to all members of the organization and to society. So this is what the definition defined by the International Organization for Standardization. So I will explain this. What is this definition means? So it is a management approach of an organization centered on quality. So that means, so main focus is on quality based on participation of all its members. So what they're telling is the main focus of the entire organization as well as employees should be on quality and aiming at long-term success. So they need to plan long-term success, how this product will work in long term. So in such angle it has to be thought, and customer satisfaction, and the main focus is the customer has to be satisfied and it should be benefit to the entire organization as well as the society. So this is what the definition given by ISO. So they says that the focus should be on quality, and so all the employees should participate in improving the quality and the customer should be satisfied. Okay, as well as the organization and the society should be benefited by these products. So that's what they mean to say. Okay, so this is the definition given by ISO. And next definition we will discuss. So TQM is an integrated organizational approach in delighting customers, both internal and external, by meeting their expectations on a continuous basis through everyone involved with the organization working on continuous improvement in all products, services, and processes along with proper problem. So here what they mean to say is that, so again similar, total quality management is an organizational approach. So entire organization has to involve delighting customers, both internal and external. So what do you mean by internal customer? So internal customer is nothing but the people who are inside. For example, from one department to other department, you are manufacturing a small component and you are passing over to the next department. So that means the that both department, that the person who is receiving the component is called as internal customer, and external customer is nothing but the end users who are using the product. Okay, so that means both internal and external customers, okay, should satisfy meeting their expectations on a continuous basis through everyone involved with the organization. So everyone should involve to meet the requirements of internal and external customer. Okay, working on continuous improvement in all products, services and processes along with proper problem. So they need to identify the problem and they should work on continuous improvements, how it can be improved step by step or stage by stage, how the product can be improved. So this is one more definition of TQM. So apart from this, so few people named quality gurus, so they have given some definitions related to TQM. So definitions of TQM by quality gurus. So who are quality gurus? So quality gurus are nothing but these people have made research. They have made research and studied about the implementation of total quality management. So how to implement a total quality management in a company, so how the quality of the product can be improved. So they have found some methods or procedures to improve the quality of the product. So those people are called as quality gurus. So here if you see, some four people have given definition related to the TQM. So first one is Phillips B Crosby, second one is Edwards Deming, third one is Bill Conway, and fourth one is Joseph Joran. So these are all few people who made more research into TQM and gave their suggestions or procedures to implement TQM. Okay, so now we will discuss one by one in detail. So first one is Phillips B Crosby. So he is one of the quality guru, and what he says is quality is conformance to requirements. So he's telling that quality is conformance to requirement. So for example, if a customer is there, so what is his requirement? For example, a customer is buying a headphone, for example, is buying a earphone. So what is his requirement? He want to hear good quality of music. So that confirmation has to be ensured in that particular product. So that is called as quality is conformance to requirement. So for what purpose? What is the requirement of customer? He wants to listen good quality of music. So whether that requirement is satisfied, so that has to be ensured. So that is called as quality is conformance to requirements. So he has given the definition. And second person named Edwards Deming. So what does Edwards Deming say about total quality management? A predictable degree of uniformity and dependability at low cost and suited to market. So what is telling is a predictable degree of uniformity. So the product, it should be uh, the the product should be at a normal rate, uniformity. So it should be of good quality and the price also should be lesser so that everybody can purchase the product. Okay, so predictable degree of uniformity and dependability at low cost and suited to market. So whatever the product you're giving, that product should be dependable. Okay, so the customer should like that, and also the cost should be at a normal rate. So you have to give good quality product so that you should be able to give in a lower cost so that the people will depend on that particular product. So this is the definition given by Edwards Deming. And third one is Bill Conway. So Bill Conway, what is giving about total quality management? So Bill Conway says that development, manufacture, administration and distribution of consistently low cost and products and services that customers need and want. So Bill Conway says that whenever you're designing and manufacturing a product, you have to design, develop, and manufacture that product at a very low cost, and you have to give good quality. So that is the expectation of the customer. So as we all know, we also would have purchased so many products, so everybody is looking for good quality at lower cost. So he is the Bill Conway is also focusing on that. He says that you have to develop and design and manufacture a product at very lower cost with good quality, so that the people can buy and it will satisfy their needs. And last, the fourth one is the TQM definition given by Joseph Joran. So Joseph Joran says that total quality is defined as fitness for use. So Joseph Joran is telling that, for example, if you're telling a product is of good quality, it should be perfect for use. Okay, sometimes we may purchase some products which is of it is not good. You're not comfortable with that product. So that means it is of not good quality. So fitness for use means it should be a perfect fit for what purpose it has made. So as I discussed, so for example, if a company is manufacturing a headphone, so it should be able to provide good quality music, okay, without any disturbance. Okay, so these are all some definitions given by the quality gurus on TQM. So next we will discuss about some characteristics of TQM. So what do you mean by characteristics of TQM? So characteristics you can tell. So otherwise you can tell features of TQM. What are the features of TQM? So whenever a company is implementing a TQM, so some few characteristics or features it has to follow. So first one we will discuss the features or characteristics of TQM in detail. So first feature is TQM is a customer oriented. So total quality management, the first feature of or characteristics of TQM is TQM is a customer oriented. So always TQM gives importance to its customer. So as I discussed in my previous lectures, so customer is king. So even I gave some illustrations to show that how the customer plays a vital role. So without customer, no business can exist. So always whenever a company is being started, the main focus should be on customer. So TQM is a customer oriented. And the second characteristics is TQM required a long-term commitment for continuous improvement of all processes. So the second characteristic says that TQM, total quality management. So whenever a company is implementing TQM, it has to think about long term. So the company should have a long term commitment to improve the process continuously. And TQM is teamwork. So third one is TQM is teamwork. So what do you mean by teamwork? Excuse me. TQM is teamwork is nothing but, so as we discussed earlier, so TQM all employees should get involved. So that is called as TQM is teamwork. And fourth characteristics is TQM requires the leadership of top management and continuous involvement. So without the support and involvement of management, this TQM cannot be successfully implemented. So as I said earlier, so the entire from the top level management, everybody has to get involved in the TQM. So TQM requires the leadership of top management and continuous involvement. So the top level leaders like CEO, president, vice president, everybody should get involved in the TQM process. They should continuously monitor whether all the whether there is continuous improvement in the quality of the product. So in case if any issues, they need to sort out those issues. So that's what this point is telling. TQM requires the leadership of top management and continuous involvement. And the fifth characteristics is TQM is a strategy for continuous improving performance at all levels and in all areas of responsibility. So TKM is a strategy, or it is a, you can tell it is a method for continuously improving the performance. So at each and every level of the product, the performance of the product can be increased in all areas. So all areas in the sense like design or production, appearance, like that testing, all areas the process has to be improved. Okay, so this is the fifth characteristics of TQM. So these are all the characteristics of TQM. So next we will discuss about TQM, basic concepts of TQM. So few concepts has to be followed during the implementation of TQM. So now we will discuss those concepts. So first one is management involvement. So the first basic concept of TKM is management involvement. So as I discussed, without the involvement of management, so no TQM can be successfully implemented in a company, because we need the involvement of management. The management has to support all the activities related to improvement in the quality. So management involvement is nothing but participate in quality program, develop quality council, and direct participation. So they need to conduct programs related to quality circle. So those things will be discussed in later on. So they need to frame policies, they need to continuously monitor all those things. So then only this continuous improvement in the product can be achieved. So the second basic concept of TKM is focus on customer. So whenever we are implementing the TKM, first we should know who is the customer, who is our customer, what are the customers expecting from our product. So that is called as the voice of the customer. So who is the customer? What are the things the customer is expecting from our product, and do it right first time and every time. So here what they're telling is, so always you do it at first time. Whenever you are doing at first time itself, we we need to do without any without any error. You need to do the product. So what will happen, sometimes whenever we are manufacturing a product, so some defects might occur. So at that time, after that, what we'll do is we need to uh, repair the product, or we need to make some minor changes in the product. So that step has to be eliminated. So whatever you are doing at the first time, it has to be done perfectly. So that is what here they mean to say, do it right first time and every time and first time whatever you're doing, you should do it with perfection. And third one is involvement and utilization of entire workforce. So that is all levels of management. So as I discussed, so each and every employee of the company, from supervisor till the top level management, has to get involved in this total quality management process. So then only the quality of the product can be quality of the product can be made successful. And the fourth one is continuous improvement. Fourth concept is continuous improvement. Quality never stops. Placing orders, bill errors, delivery, minimize wastage and scraps, etc. So here what they mean to say is that there should be continuous improvement in each and every process. So whenever you are doing that the first time, so the process may take some time. For example, you are doing a machining operation, so it may take some 8 minutes. So we need to see how that machining operations can be reduced, and scrap, wastage, so duration of time taken in manufacturing a product, so all those to be reduced. And similarly, sometimes they may create some errors in bill. So all those things has to be rectified and continuous improvement should be increased. So that is called as continuous improvement. So continuous improvement is nothing but you should reduce the manufacturing time, and you should avoid unwanted errors and scrap maximum. You need to reduce the scrap. So as we all know, the main thing is the cost of raw material is very very important. So the cost of raw material is very huge, and so we maximum we need to reduce the scrap. So whenever you are producing a product, so lots of wastage will be happening at the end of the product. So those things has to be reduced so that the product quality can be increased, and you can give it very lower cost. So when the wastage of material is less, definitely you can give the product at lower cost. So that is called as continuous improvement. And the fifth concept is treating suppliers as partners. So what do you mean by suppliers? So suppliers are nothing but, you can see, for example, if you take any company, so the company alone won't manufacture all the entire components required for a particular product. So they may get some few standard components from sub vendors. For example, if you take for example, you can take automobile manufacturing company car. So what they will do is they used to buy the wheels and seats, those things and all from other people. Somebody is supplying those items to the company. Okay, so that means that suppliers has to be treated as partners, because few components you are getting from outside. For example, to tell one more example, you can tell like nuts, bolts. So these things and all, they will be getting from a subcontractor or a supplier. So that supplier has to give good quality of product. If his quality is good, because it has some impact on the main product which the company is manufacturing. So if the supplier is supplying very good quality product only, so there won't be any issues. So then what here, the suppliers has to be treated as partners. Okay, so they also have to involve in this total quality management. So the suppliers also, they need to involve in this total quality management. They also have to give good quality of products, so then only the entire product will work smoothly. So here they say no business exists without suppliers. So every business you take, there is a supplier, or you can tell a sub vendor or something, whatever the other words you can use, vendor. So they may be supplying some particular component. So you need to treat them as a partners, and the suppliers also should involve in the total quality management, because your product is dependent on some few components of that supplier. So if he is supplying good quality without any defect only, the product will work well and there won't be any complaints from the customer. So this is called as treating suppliers as partners. Okay, and the last basic concept is performance measures. So what do you mean by performance measures? Creating accountability in all levels. So performance measures is nothing but creating accountability in all levels. For example, you can tell, for example, operator is manufacturing a particular component. For example, is manufacturing a nut or bolt or a screw rod, whatever it is. So he is responsible for that particular product. So he need to ensure that the quality is maintained as per the requirement. So for example, if there is some defect in that particular component manufactured by the operator, so he will be responsible. Okay, so that means, so each and every operator, so for whatever the product they're, for whatever the component they're manufacturing, they should be responsible. So they will be accountable for that particular, for example, in case if any defect, they will be responsible for that. So this culture has to be implemented, so then only you can continuously improve the product quality. Okay, otherwise we won't be able to identify. where the mistake has gone. So if each and every operator is accountable for their particular component, so obviously the defects can be reduced and the quality of the product can be increased. So these are all these six basic concepts that has to be uh, that has to be followed. Okay, basic concepts that has to be followed and implemented in total quality management. So I hope you understood about these concepts. So that's all for today's session. So I hope you got some idea. So just I will give a recap of today's session. So what and all the things we have discussed. So in today's class, in a nutshell, so we have discussed about TQM. So what is TQM? Definitions of TQM. So definitions of TQM by ISO, so International Organization for Standardization. So what they have said about total quality management, and the three words. If you split the words of total quality management, what is the meaning of that word? And then we were discussing about characteristics of TQM. So what are the characteristics or features of TQM? So on what particular area this TQM is focusing, and finally basic concepts of TQM. So these are the things we have discussed. So I hope you enjoyed this session. So if you are having any doubts, you can post in the comment section. So until then, it's bye. Have a nice day. See you in the next session of TQM. Thank you.